what kind of documents do you need to collect from your potential employees that are going to join your organization? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to this channel. I'm Elrona D'Souza from S&K HR Consulting, bringing you another topic about HR setup in the UAE. And today we're going to tackle the documentation aspects of hiring employees. So what kind of documents do you need to collect from your potential employees that are going to join your organization? So before we tackle all things documentation, I'm going to give you a moment to hit that subscribe button so you're always part of this community. So now let's talk all things documentation. If you're trying to understand what documents you need from an employee, you have to first understand where this employee is hired from, and the documentation is based on that. So if you're hiring somebody from overseas, you need a set of documents. And if you're hiring somebody locally, then you need a different set of documents. And when I mean locally, I mean expats living in the UAE. So back to hiring from overseas. If you're hiring from overseas, you need these three documents. You need a copy of a passport that is valid for more than 6 months. You need a passport photo with a white background based on the Emirates ID standards, which we will share in the show notes below. And lastly, you need an attested qualification certificate. Let's spend a minute on that, explaining what the attested qualification certificate is all about. When you talk about attestation, it has to be attested by the UAE embassy in the country where the certificate originated from. For example, if you're hiring somebody from, let's say, India, and they have taken an education of an undergrad in the UK, then their qualification attestation should happen from the UAE embassy in UK and not India, right? So that's important. So if you're hiring locally, then you have to look at where this employee's current employment status looks like. Are they employed currently by another sponsor? Then you need, other than these documents that I just mentioned, which is 6 months valid passport, copy of that, passport photo, and the attested qualification. You also need a copy of the visa cancellation document, the copy of the electronic residence permit, and a copy of the Emirates ID. Now, if this person that you're hiring is based locally but is sponsored by either a parent or a spouse, then you also need, in addition to all these documents, other than the visa cancellation document, you need an NOC from that sponsor to say that this sponsor has no objection for this person to work with your organization. And as a sponsor, you also need their Emirates ID as a record. Now, the last category is coming up more recently, is where they're employed by another company and they're working with you as well. Then you need a NOC from that employer that is sponsoring that person. So you need all these other documents that we've just mentioned, and we'll repeat them in the show notes below, and an NOC from that sponsor. So just to recap, you can either hire employees from overseas, then you need 3 sets of documents, which is a passport that is valid for more than 6 months, a passport photo, and an attested qualification certificate. And if you're hiring an expat locally, then based on where they're hiring from, the documentation set differs. I hope this video helps. As always, there'll be information in the show notes below, and I look forward to those questions in the comments, and I'm looking for more subscribers after this video. See you in the next video.